Hello, this is old Mr. Kent of MrKent.com, and we're starting out from someplace else than I normally do. Uh, and I'll tell you a story, but we're on the road, on the canal road that I was on when I crashed my e-bike and dislocated my shoulder. I like this road. It's just, it's kind of bouncy to be making videos on, like here comes a lump in the road, over and under. Oh, there we go. All right. So anyway, it may be a little bit more bouncy on the camera. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, so today's story, if you have been following my channel, and if you looked at the last video, which I'll put a link to it in the description and at the end of the video, that's when I introduced my two friends, Ronald and Roland Lewis. And they were the same age as me, went to same high school, and all that stuff. So we did a lot of fun things together. They also, they had, I think I told you, they had a wealthy single mom, and so they had lots of toys. And they had an older brother named Dave. He was out of school. But one Friday in the middle of winter, somebody decided we should go to the ocean. Now we lived in the Seattle area, south of Seattle, in the SeaTac airport area. And so it was a 2-3 hour drive to the ocean, to the Pacific coast. And so somebody decided we should do that. And then I've also introduced my friend Henry, who he and I hung out together a lot. Well, so Henry, me, and the three Lewis boys all crawled in the car on a Friday morning in winter. The boys, me, we skipped school, and we got in the car and drove to the ocean. Now, like I said, it's about a 3-hour drive. So when we got there, we drove on, in Washington State at that time, it was legal to drive your car on the beach. And we got to this place called Long Beach, and it's a long stretch of beach where you don't, there's nothing in your way. So you can just run your car fast down that beach. So we got out and we were looking at everything, and the tide was out, way out, which gave us plenty of room. And so as we were standing there, two of the boys, Dave and Roland or Robert, I don't know which one it was, decided they would get in the car and drive down the beach. Well, when they got in the car to drive down the beach, I could see that it was going to be exciting, because as they left, I mean, they were just giving it all it had, Oh, this is the spot right about in here. This is, as far as I can tell, this is about where I was coming the other direction, and I hit a rut, and it grabbed my tire and pulled it this way and tipped the bike over that way, and I crashed into that berm there and dislocated my left shoulder. So anyway, I got a video on that, and I can tell more about that in a story sometime. But actually, it was right here. It wasn't back there. It was right here in this spot right here. So anyway, so they took off. Well, so then the rest of us, me and Henry and the other twin boy, we were just standing there. I can't remember which one it was. Standing there looking around. Pretty soon here they come back. Man, they were moving when they came back. They were in their mom's car. She had two cars. She had a Studebaker, which was one of the last Studebakers made, because that was where they decided they'd make the front end and the back end look the same. So you could, that's right, that's what they did. And so if you looked at it, you could tell where the front was and where the back was. but the trunk area, instead of sloping down, went out like a lot of cars do nowadays. But they were out of their out of their time zone, and so they decided that they would make that car. Well, anyway, so she had one of those, and then she also had a 1950 Ford, and I'll put a picture of that up. I probably should put up a picture of the Studebakers from that time. Anyway, so it put them out of business, making that car so strange looking. Well, anyway, so we were in the 1950 Ford, and they came back, and that car was top heavy. And everybody that had one would agree. So as they came back, they were down by the water, and we were up on the further up towards land, and they made a big wide U-turn. And as they did, I could see that the left wheels left the ground. They got just a little bit up on two wheels, and I thought, whoa, that should have been a warning. But anyway, so they pulled up, and they were talking about how they were chasing seagulls and all that kind of stuff. And so then the other twin boy that was with us, and Henry and I, we decided, well, let's go do that. So we jumped in the car. The Lewis boy, he was, I got a rut coming up here. The Lewis boy, he was driving, and then I was in the middle, and Henry, he was on the outside, in the passenger seat on the outside. So we started down, and of course there's seagulls, you start going really fast, and you think you're going to hit one, but they are so cool because very slowly they decide they're going to take off, and you just think you're going to hit them, and they've come right over the top of the front fender, over the top of the car, and you couldn't hit them. We tried as we were going 80, 90 miles an hour, and we could not hit a seagull, which is a good thing. Well, anyway, so we got to a point where this one seagull was closer down to the water, and the guy driving decided, we'll get that one. So as he came to that seagull, we were watching the seagull. All three of us were watching the seagull, and he took off to the right. In the meantime, on our left side, there was a wave coming in, which we didn't see. And so this wave came in front of us, and all of a sudden, all you could see was gray, because we were in the water and going 70, 80 miles an hour. And so naturally he panicked a little bit. So he decided to remember now the water's on the left, and he decided to make a sharp right turn to get out of the water. Well, at that point in time, we were hydroplaning, if you know what that is. And so it didn't do any good, except we slowly started, I'm going over some pretty bumpy area here. We slowly started to turn to the right. And about that same time, the wave receded, like they do on the beach, and the wave receded, and all of a sudden, our wheels, which were cranked to the right, hit the ground going really fast, and that car rolled over and landed on its side. Okay, I got to get up a hill here, so I'm going to put it into pedal assist 5, get a run at it here. Here we go. All right, we made that. Now go back to pedal assist 2. So anyway, the car rolled over on its left side, and if you've never been in a car that's rolling over, it's hard to understand, but your whole world gets turned sideways. You're looking out the front of a car. Only thing is, the road is on the driver's side window. And so, and then of course, Henry was on top of me, and I was on top of the guy that was driving. And about that time, another wave came in and washed around, and I'm dodging holes here. It washed around, and we could see that it was about 3 or 4 inches deep right in the driver's side window there. So we told Henry, open the door and get out. Let's get out of here. So Henry stood on my shoulders and got up, got a hold of the door, which was on top of him, and he pushed the door open and was able to crawl out and got up and, whoops, I'm going to go this way. No, I should just go up here. Anyway, I don't want to go into the canal. Anyway, so he got out, and then he was holding the door, and I started to crawl out, and for some reason, he decided he'd just let the door go and he would jump off. So he jumps off the car, which is laying on its side, lets the door come down on top of my head. So that knocks me back down on top of the driver, and so then I wasn't too happy about that. But the waves were coming in and going out, and the driver's side window was getting really covered with sand and everything. So so then I had to be able to get up again, stand on the driver's shoulders, and get the door open. I got the door open, and I crawled out, and I held the door for the guy coming up after me. So we all got out of the car, but in the meantime, the water was coming up deeper and deeper. Well, somebody had noticed a shack with a Caterpillar tractor parked next to it, which I'm now I think is probably because of people like us. But it was halfway down the beach, and so I don't remember who it was, but 2 of them took off running, I didn't, because I wasn't as fast, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, I stayed with the car, and they took off, and pretty soon there was a guy that lived in that shack, and he was a guy that pulls people out that do stupid stuff like we did. And so so anyway, he got the car, he pulled it on its side, he pulled it up on the beach, and then it took all of us and everything we had to tip it straight back up and sit on its wheels. And of course then the horn started honking because of the salt water, and the engine started, and so we had to just kind of disconnect a lot of stuff and let it dry out, which we did. Well then, we just decided, okay, that's how it is, and we drove home. And we were wet, and the car was covered with sand, and I don't remember whether their parents was mad or not, or his mom was mad or not, but anyway, that's the story. Well, I'm going to do a voiceover and end the video properly. As it turned out, on the way home, we stopped at a filling station, and the car was just covered with sand, and the guy said, what's going on? And Dave said, well, we've been out rolling in the sand, which I don't know if he understood it or not. But then also, when Monday came and it was time for us to go back to school, my parents, they didn't like what I did, but they wrote me a note and said something about I went to the ocean on Friday. And then the boys, they wrote their own notes. They forged them, said they were sick. Well, the principal at the school knew who hung out with each other. As turned out, I got excused, and they had to do detention to make up time. Anyway, so that's the story. I want to thank you for watching my video, and God bless.